Okay, year sixes. Apologies for any noise that occurs during the filming. I am going to fly through this rather quickly because I filmed this at home, but you can barely make out my voice in my video. So I'm going to have to refilm this in a very hurried fashion. So please bear with me. If you have any questions throughout the lesson, because I'm skimming over stuff or I'm going too quickly, please email me specific details. Okay, specifically what you want to know. Now let's quickly talk about what this week and next week are going to look like. We're going to be working towards a modified assessment task. So this assessment task is something that you will be able to do at home. Don't panic. It's not going to be too complicated. That's what we're working towards this week and next week. So I've modified it so that it's easier for you to be able to complete at home. We are also going to be branching away from the distance education lessons, and we're going to be doing more activities that we would be doing here at school. So we usually wouldn't be doing the things that you've been doing over the last couple of weeks. We're going to be doing more of the things that you will be doing this week, which is a very bizarre way of saying that we're going to be doing stuff a bit differently. Before giving your assessment task, we will be completing an assessment practice together so that when you get your assessment, it's not going to be the first time you've seen the questions and you will be very prepared for it. Over the course of this week, week and a half, 2 weeks, please make sure that if you email us a question, be very, very specific with what you're actually asking. Because we're getting, we got a couple of emails last week. Give me some help with question 6. But there's no what lesson is it, what subject is it. So please make sure that you're specifically saying, could you please explain to me what a rhetorical question is? Or could you please help me with lesson 3, question 3 in English? So I really want you to reach out as opposed to asking mum and dad. Sorry, guys. My voice has gone funny. Please make sure that you email us instead of asking mum and dad. Obviously, if your mum and dad are there to help you and you think they might be able to answer the question, do that. But that's what we're here for. That's why we check our emails. I think I check mine every 10 to 15 minutes. So please make sure that you are emailing us with your questions so that we can help you, so that you're not, mum and dad aren't feeling that pressure to be able to have to know what these things are. So that's the general look. Now, I'm going to very quickly show you your assessment task that you will be working towards next week. So you're going to look at 2 different travel advertisements. We're going to be focusing on travel advertisements because your first assessment is looking at 2 different locations, and then your second assessment is you at home are going to be creating an advertisement for a location around the world, anywhere. So you get to pick a place and you're going to create a travel advertisement to try to get people to go there. So that's why we're going to veer away from the hygiene advertisements and all those, kind of almost random advertisements. So we're going to focus more on real life travel advertisements. Okay, so you've got a couple of multiple choice questions. You've got a few short answers. Now these questions you don't have to fill up all 4 lines with an answer, but you just have to make sure that you're answering it. We're going to go through these a bit later. I'm not going to go through them now. I'm just showing you what we're working towards. Now, over the next week, this week, we're going to be focusing on this table. So we're going to be looking at different advertisements and we're going to be pulling out and deconstructing examples of each of these things, like noun groups, evaluative language, modality, repetition, narrative point of view, figurative language. We're going to be talking about how to answer questions about layout and images. So this table you're going to see a few times over the week, so that when your assessment comes, you look at this table and you're like, I can do that. I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. And in your English book or on worksheet like this that you will print, you can use those as examples when you have to complete your assessment. Okay, so it's just like here at school when we say you can use your book. It's like that. This is your modelled response. This is your example to work towards. Same with these 2 questions. Target audience, how to respond to that question. And the lucky last one here is asking you to compare 2 advertisements. Now, towards the end of the week, when we actually have looked at a few examples of different advertisements, we'll complete that question then. But for today's lesson, we're not going to do that. Okay? And then, of course, you've got your criteria sheet. But I will email your assessment to you next week, okay? Because ideally I want you to start, or I'm going to give you 2 to 3 days to do it. I will upload a video specifically talking about your assessment, this assessment task, and I will go through and read the advertisements with you. We can have a general chat about them, and then I'm going to get you to go and do it. So I probably won't upload a video on maybe Thursday or Friday, or Thursday and Friday, so that you guys can just know that you're working on this assessment task, okay? So you will not be alone in this. We're going to try to get you as prepared as possible to complete this at home. Don't panic about it. We're here virtually for you, so you can email, text, call. I'll take that back. Don't text us. You don't have our numbers. That's not an option. I meant email. Okay, so let's quickly get over and do our lesson for today, because I don't have a lot of time. So what we're looking at today is this one here. We're looking at this advertisement for Okinawa. Now, I've opened it in a Word document because I'm going to be typing directly into the Word document. So hopefully my face isn't covering something very important. So let me just move my face down here. There we go. So that when I type, you guys can still see my face. All right, so you need to decide whether you're going to print this table, type directly into it, or write in your English book. You don't have to rule up a table if you don't want to, but you need to very clearly have subheadings and examples next to it, like we would in English. You know, have language devices and advertisement, and very clearly say what advertisement you're looking at, so the Okinawa one. And then you could have figurative language examples, blank, blank, blank. Then you could have noun groups, subheading, underline, blank, blank, blank example. Then you could have evaluative language, blank, blank, blank example. And then, so make sure that you just very, very clearly lay it out. But if you want to go ahead and make a table, go for that. So it doesn't matter where you do it, as long as you do the work. Okay, I'm going to stop rambling and get through this. So what we're going to do is, we're going to go through this advertisement, and I am going to type in, as I and you virtually at home are going to find the examples of these. So I'm going to do this one very heavily for you so that you can understand how you're supposed to answer these questions. So let's start by reading the advertisement. This advertisement is for the location Okinawa. So I'm going to just read it from head to toe, and then we can start pulling out examples that we've been, of all the language features and devices that we've been talking about over the last week or two. So, cruising Okinawa is like love at first sight. You'll be seduced by its beauty and captivated by its charm. Worlds apart from the rest of Japan and 1,000 miles from Tokyo, Okinawa today is renowned as a tropical getaway, famous for its white sandy beaches, crystal clear waters, unique crafts, local dishes, and World Heritage sites relating to the Ryukyu Kingdom's 500-year rule. With its laid-back atmosphere and natural beauty that includes forests laced with rivers and waterfalls, is it any wonder that Okinawas are among the longest living people on Earth? After arriving leisurely by ship instead of hustling with flights from Tokyo, you too will be right in step with Okinawa's slow pace of life. Ready to enjoy everything this unique tropical paradise has to offer? Visit Okinawa, and then down the bottom are the, sponsors. Okay, there we go. Let's start pulling out examples of figurative language. So we are going to go through and find examples of figurative language within this advertisement, but keep in mind, all of the advertisements we're going to look at are very different. Some will have lots and lots of examples of figurative language within it. So similes, metaphors, personification, alliteration, rhetorical questions, idioms, puns, blah, blah, blah. So, and some of them are going to be very limited. Okay? Some of them might just have an example of alliteration, done, done. That's it. So don't expect to fill up all these boxes and think, I haven't done enough, because each of your advertisements is going to be unique. Okay, so let's have a look. So already in a heading, I can see an example of one of these. So cruising Okinawa is like love at first sight. Now, you should see that and think, is like love at first sight? The keyword like there comes out at me as a what? Hopefully you're thinking similarly. It's making a comparison. It's saying Okinawa is like love at first sight. So there's that comparison happening. Now, how do we know that that's not a metaphor? It's because it's using the word like. Therefore, I'm going to type in, it is a simile. The example is, Okinawa is like love at first sight. Okay, you'll be seduced by its beauty and captivated by its charm. Well, to me, a location, yes, can captivate you, but typically that's not really something that a location realistically can do. So I'm going to say it's an example of personification. So remember, personification is when you give non-living things human-like characteristics. So you'll be going well, guys. I'm trying to rush and I'm making mistakes. Okay. You'll be seduced by its... You know what? I've previously done this already. So what I found are these things. These are the examples that I found when I was doing this lesson yesterday. So similarly, like love at first sight, I've already covered that one. Personification, you'll be seduced by its beauty and captivated by its charm. And you've also got laid back atmosphere in the copy text. So remember, personification is giving a non-living thing human characteristics like laid back atmosphere. So we know that laid back atmosphere usually means it's calm, it's relaxed, it's super chilled out, but an atmosphere doesn't generally act laid back. Does that make sense? So it's kind of something that we can do. We can be quite laid back. And alliteration I found is crystal clear waters. Now, alliteration is the repeating of a sound for effect. So crystal clear waters is something that I pulled out of there. There might be some more, but we are going to just move on a little bit more. Now, noun groups. Noun groups are, hopefully you remember from previous lessons, hopefully, spark your memory. Now, a noun group is adjectives built up around a noun to describe it, give it more detail, make it vivid. So that's kind of creating imagery. It expresses qualities. Okay? So, some of the things I found. Well, what you need to do first of all is go through and have a look at where your nouns are within your copy text or within your advertisement. So, maybe if you pause the video now, go through and find the nouns. Go through and see if you can find nouns, give them a highlight, give them a circle, depending on how you're working on this, and see what you can come up with. Hopefully you've identified nouns. What you need to do now is, what adjectives, or are there adjectives there that describe the noun or give it greater detail or express qualities about that noun? So this is what I found earlier. Okay, this is what I found earlier. So here is your noun. Here is your noun again. Crystal clear waters, there's your noun. Now, most of these, again, I'm not going to go through and do all of them. Most of these, the descriptors come before the noun. It doesn't always happen that way. It could be also after the noun. So these are just the ones that I found. So first step is find your nouns, the name of a person, a place, or a thing. And an adjective is a describing word. So the key way to find a noun group is to locate your nouns, what words are used to describe the noun, or give it greater detail. Okay, so those are the ones that I found. There may be some others, but again, just going to keep moving through it. Okay, so evaluative language, choices that express feelings or opinions. So what you need to do here is evaluative languages can be quite tricky, but I guess you could say what phrases or parts of sentences express an opinion or a feeling about something. So I know in the lucky last paragraph there, I picked up on some evaluative language. So after arriving leisurely by ship. Now, to me, arriving leisurely by ship is quite subjective. Some people might really enjoy a cruise ship. Some people might not enjoy a cruise ship. So leisurely by ship is expressing a feeling or an opinion about it. Instead of hustling with a flight from Tokyo. Now, not everybody feels that booking flights could be a hassle. Some people do. So what I've done there is I've identified some evaluative language. So that's people there who are expressing an opinion or a quality. The other things I found there were natural beauty. With it's the second paragraph. It's laid back atmosphere and natural beauty that includes forest laced with blah 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 blah. So to me, that's figurative, evaluative language. It's a positive descriptor of the location. Leisurely by ship, hustling with fries and cooking, and Okinawa's slow pace of life. So that's describing or expressing an opinion or feeling about the way of life there is quite slow and leisurely, and so those are the examples I found. Modality. So modality is language that describes a degree of certainty or about something. So let's have a look what I found earlier. Today is. Oh, I wonder where that example is. Wonder where I found that one. I'm talking about renowned as. Where did I see that? Ah, there it is. First sentence. Okinawa today is renowned as a tropical paradise. Is renowned as. That's quite certain. So that is what I put down as an example of modality. You two will be right. So that's expressing a certainty that the target audience will enjoy this location. They will be captivated. They will enjoy the tropical paradise and they will find it unique. So again, a high degree of certainty there. There probably are others, but I'm going to leave it there for now as well. So repetition. Oh, did I forget rhetorical questions up here? Actually, figurative language. I'm pretty certain rhetorical questions are supposed to fit in there. I'm shooting back up the top where rhetorical questions are because I realised I actually haven't filled out the rhetorical questions portion of it. So there are two rhetorical questions. In the second paragraph, is it any wonder that Okinawans are among the longest living people on Earth? That's a rhetorical question. Okay, so I've added in the couple of rhetorical questions here that I completely overlooked earlier. So apologies, but that's where they are. Not every advertisement, again, is going to have rhetorical questions, so just include them if you need to. Okay, if we go down to repetition, now repetition is used in order to make sure that something is remembered, something is emphasized. So we're going to go through and have a look at any words or phrases that were repeated. Now, going through, I already know that location name is one of those. I know that Tokyo is repeated. I think the word paradise has been repeated. I think the word tropical has been repeated. So you need to go through and have a look at any phrases or words that were used multiple times. I think I'm seeing the word beauty. Again, that's an easy one. So remember, repetition is used as a tool. So to emphasize something, to ensure that people remember something. So it could be a phrase or it could be a word. So narrative point of view. Again, if you aren't sure what narrative point of view is, go back and rewatch the lesson where we looked at narrative point of view to ensure that you have a good understanding of how to identify it. So narrative point of view is first, second, or third. Now, if you remember that lesson, second is typically used from advertisements because the idea is that they are talking to the audience. That is no different to this one here. So if you go through, it says you'll be seduced by its beauty, captivated by its charm. It's asking you rhetorical questions, and down the bottom, you too will be right in step. So that tells me it's second person. So remember, you also write examples of how you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out the examples here. Right, it's going to have to write all of it. And then down the bottom, I'm also going to put you to will blank. Okay. Now, let's move on to images that engage the reader. So we're talking about the images. Why are these images chosen and what effect do they have on the audience? I've already pre-written it, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy it from this one here and I'm going to pop it here. So what I know about the images is that they are there to give the target audience a visual representation of the location, the activities, and the landmarks. The images are appealing to the eye and therefore will be an incentive and also encourage the target audience to visit. So effectively, each of these images are there to show you what the place is like, what the place can feel like, what the place will look like. So as long as you've just got to think about why do you think the images were chosen? For me, they're a visual. So there's copy text there, and these are a visual, so they kind of branch from the copy text. Cohesion. How are the images and text connected? Because remember, cohesion is all about connection. You know, how does it all tie together? So cohesion, how are the images and text connected? Well, for me, the images link directly to the text. For example, it's talking about crystal clear waters. The largest image on the advertisement is of somebody sitting on the beach in front of crystal clear blue water. So, and same with all the other images, it's talking about World Heritage sites. It's actually showing you World Heritage sites. It's talking about unique crafts. It's talking about beautiful locations. Therefore, that's what you're seeing. Okay, so there is a very strong link between the images and the copy text. So again, I'm just going to copy what I've already typed and I'm going to pop it in here. Now I'm going to just go over and move my face back up here again so that you guys can still see what I'm writing. Okay, so the images have been carefully chosen to show a link between the copy text. They each extend on the copy text to give the audience a visual representation of each of the described activities or locations. So there is a definite link between the two. They give a visual and they're not just random images. They're there to extend on the copy text. Okay, layout. Okay, guys, so now what you're going to do is the layout. Was the layout effective? Explain two aspects of the layout which had more of an impact on you. Now, this is your opinion. This question's asking you to have an opinion about the layout. Now, for me, I felt that this advertisement was quite effective. I feel like it used colours beautifully. I felt like the copy text was, while they did try to include a lot, I felt like it was just enough to entice the audience to want to go. The images were great for a visual representation. I felt like they could have had a few less images, maybe even cropped out one of the rows of images, but I felt like it all tied together so nicely. So what you're going to do here is, was the layout effective? And talk about two aspects of it. So let me go over to what I have obviously already typed up. I'm going to drop it in here. So, a quinoa, The Okinawa layout was effective at providing the audience a visual representation of the location along with beautiful descriptions. The placement of the text and images allowed for the audience to easily read. Their eyes glanced down the page and were met with beautiful colours and images. So I probably could include. I like that they used blue throughout. The blue colours linked cohesively with the location and the descriptions too. So they used blue. Obviously, it's a tropical place. They've used blue as a border. They've used blue colours, and I feel like that's a really nice cohesive tie around all of it. Okay, the next question is about target audience. So what you're going to need to do here is select or tell me who you think the target audience is for this advertisement. Now, remember, it's not about age, it's about the type of people you feel like it's targeting. So, first of all, I would say, the thing I would do is dot point who I feel like the target audience would be. For me, it's targeting people who are busy because it's talking about peaceful way of life. To cut down on time, I'm just going to drop in this portion of what I've already written here. So, I've said that I felt that this is targeting people who live very busy lives, people who enjoy relaxing on the beach, people who like sightseeing, and people who are wanting to relax. Okay. What your target here, what you are attempting to do here is discuss what features back up that that's your target audience. What clues in the advertisement hint that this might be your target audience? So you need to, in your response, tell me the target audience, tell me the main idea of the advertisement, to relax, to unwind, elaborate on that by giving me references to the text. So go back and find some evidence and then link to the main idea. So let me show you by sharing with you what I have already written. Okay, so I'm just going to zoom in on this so that you can see. Okay, so I've already identified these people. That is your target audience, people who live for busy lives, want to relax, who like sightseeing, because those are the key, for me, those are the key things that the advertisement are, those are the key features that the advertisement are trying to highlight. So, first of all, identify a target audience. That's my first sentence. This advertisement is targeting busy people looking to relax and unwind. So, I've identified my target audience. The next thing I need to do is you need to identify what the main idea of the advertisement is. The main idea of the advertisement for Okinawa is that the tourists will be able to enjoy white sandy beaches and crystal clear waters and join the Okinawans in their slow pace of life. What I've done is I've actually highlighted my examples. Okay, I've highlighted the examples. These have come straight from the advertisement. Okay, what I need to do now is I need to elaborate on the main idea. It is selling a relaxing holiday in a beautiful, natural setting to people looking for a break from their busy lives. See how I've taken the target audience and the main idea, and I've tried to show them together. I've used, in a sentence, I've explained both of those two things. I've elaborated a bit more because this is so I'm just scrolling up to the advertisement. It's talking about, relaxing and the slow pace of life. It's talking about, is it any wonder that they're the longest living people? That means they take a break, they look after themselves. It's talking about leisurely traveling by ship and not hassling with flights. Ready to enjoy the unique paradise. So it's really trying to advertise that really cruisy holiday that's not filled with adrenaline activities. It's not filled with, massive hikes up mountain peaks or snowboarding. It's wanting to take busy people out of their busy lives and take them on a holiday where they can unwind and relax. So that third sentence there takes the target audience and elaborates on the main idea and puts them two together. So the next sentence, I need to explain what the language features used are. So the white sandy beaches, the crystal clear water, the slow pace of life. So what are those things? What features are they? And that's what the next sentence is talking about. It uses noun groups that describe the natural attraction of the place, and evaluative language is about having a peaceful experience. And that's it. So I've used 3 examples here, and down here I've identified what those are. So what language features support the main idea, okay? And this is your response to the target audience question. So first thing is identify target audience, give me examples, tell me the main idea, and link the two together, okay? So the last question we're not going to do because we don't have 2 advertisements yet. So that might be one that we save for Thursday once we've looked at 2 advertisements. So guys, keep in mind that the lessons will be structured a bit differently now because we're going to kind of steer away from the distance ed and kind of focus a bit more on what we would be doing here at school. And the kids at school here will be doing this lesson today as well. So everybody will be on task. So don't stress if you aren't following the distance ed lessons, because when you guys all return to school, that's when we'll start the news report unit. So don't start the news report unit. We will do that together when you come back to school. That's our next unit. So follow along. Don't forget, ask specific questions if you have them. Okay, tomorrow we're going to do exactly the same thing, but we're going to be looking at a different advertisement. Every lesson that we do this, I'm going to provide less and less of my responses and rely a bit more on you guys to try to come up with your own so that you become a lot more independent with it and autonomous with your work. So that's it for today, guys. I apologize for the echo in the first half of the video. I don't know what's happened, but this is about the 2nd or 3rd time I've had to film most of this lesson. So I'm just going to have to post it as is because I don't have time to fix it now. But apologies, and it won't happen again. All right. Have a good day, guys. See you later.